Hi, this is Marilyn Fontaine from mjfontaine.co.uk. Welcome to the Unconventional Creative Pioneer Series. Today, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be interviewing Latoya from Stylegasms Designs. And Stylegasm Designs is a t-shirt and also a creative company that deals with natural t-shirts and t-shirts with really interesting information on them, and you will see in the blog post that I put there'll be pictures to accompany this interview. What I want to achieve with these interviews is to find out and interview creative folk and business owners, and to kind of get an idea of what they actually do in their life, what practices they have to kind of make their life more rich, more holistic, and also what makes them successful. The reason why I do that is because I do NLP, and what NLP tends to be, the foundations really is how to model success or successful people. And what we really need to do with these interviews is to find out what exactly is it that these people do to give them the staying power to run their businesses, and also what makes them have a balance in their life, or what is it that helps them to become more and more creative. So we'll be asking 5 questions from the Creative Healing Playbook, and that is: how do you set goals? How do you maintain your creativity? Do you have any specific movement or exercise program or regime? Do you have a morning practice? And how do you nurture your relationship with yourself? And again, this is quite a holistic approach, so we want to find out exactly what makes them tick, and what makes them get up in the morning, and how do they see their day, and what is it they do to kind of plan their life. And what I did find with this interview that I did with Latoya is that I could have gone on forever. I mean, just how she planned, and she talked about how she had a morning practice and her movement or exercise regime. It was just really, really succinct, but it really made me kind of reinforce what I do and how important what I'm doing is for me. So for example, my actual spiritual practices and my movement and exercise regime. So without further ado, I'm not going to keep waffling on. I want to go to the interview with Latoya, and if you've got any comments, please make comments. Let me know what you think about the interviews. And also, if you want to be interviewed and you're an unconventional creative business person or pioneer, just drop me an interview at info@mjfontaine.co.uk, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Okay. Enjoy the interview.
I'm from Stylegasm Designs, and currently I have a t-shirt company which I plan to expand very soon. But right now it's t-shirts, and our first collection came out in April, and it was called No Judgment. And basically the company just stands for freedom of self. That's our motto. It's all about being able to express yourself without judgment, and letting others express themselves without you judging them. And so that's the company. It originally was an extension of my blog, which was Stylegasm. And there's a whole definition for Stylegasm, but basically it's anything stylish, or even in the arts or photography, that gets you going and gives you that feeling. And that's what I hope every time I create something, that each piece gets people emotionally involved, and that they feel something when they see it.
Okay, brilliant. Because I came across your t-shirts actually on Twitter, and for me, actually seeing the t-shirts and the slogans, what you had on your t-shirts, for me, I just felt that it was just great to be able to have something that represented what a lot of unconventional creative pioneers feel like, and it just really gives us the permission not to have to say anything, but to just be. So, I am going to post on the blog a picture of one of my favorite t-shirts from you. So let me just actually go into some questions. So for your actual business, how did you plan it? Did you use a goal setting process?
Actually, I sat down and I wrote on a list the order that I wanted the business to go into. So it was like, first I'm going to get my graphics, then I'm going to get a printer, then I'm going to do the legal papers, then I'm going to do this and this and this and this. And I actually set out and wrote goals for up to a year from when I actually started, which was October of 2010. And, every time a step would come up, if I didn't have the resources for that step, I didn't let it stop me. I actually just continued to move on. And I said, I was like, when I need it, it'll come. And it just happened to happen that way. Every time I needed something, it presented itself. And I think it's just because I just had in mind the end result. I kept that in mind. So, I just kind of sat down and wrote down every step I wanted to take. And anything I didn't know, Google was my best friend, and it still is. So.
Excellent. So did you have anything visual, or was it just kind of lists that you had?
I had a vision. I knew that I wanted a collection, and I wanted a collection of teas, and I wanted them to represent a different spot in my life. And then that's how each one came about, that I'm a spiritual person. There's the nympho tea, which actually just promotes safe sex. I'm a woman who likes sex, but I want to promote safe sex.
Right.
And of course, just the logo tea for what Stylegasm stood for. And then there was the P Control tea, which was actually based on a Prince song, but it was about a woman who was just in charge of her life and didn't take any stuff. And at that time, when I started this, I was at that point in my life, I felt like I had grown into this type of woman, and I just wanted to present that to the world.
Right. So it's kind of because a lot of sisters would actually like that actual T-shirt, and a lot of people will find it quite controversial. But actually, the fact that you've explained about it, I think it's excellent, because it is about having control, and it's about honoring yourself, isn't it? Really.
And every time I tried to promote it, I just would tell people, like, listen to the Prince song. It's based, it's fantastic. That's the name of his song. Like, I just wanted people to listen to it so they would get it, because I knew it was going to have a double meaning for some. And then, of course, the 100% natural tea, which everyone loves.
Oh,
and, that tea was just a reminder to myself that it wasn't just about my hair. There were so many other ingredients that made me such a beautiful woman that I wanted other women to feel that way.
That's excellent. I mean, because I do a project with young women, and for me, I'm going to really push those teas, because, I think that it's really important to embrace that, and it's not to discount at people who actually use perms or other different means on their hair, but it's such a celebration. And the T-shirt, I find, which I'm going to embed in between his interviews so people can actually see the range of teas. But I think it's you've actually thought about what the image you're actually getting across without worrying too much about graphics. It's more of the actual words. So which leads me to the next question. So for you, how important is it to be creative, and how do you express this?
I think it's my lifeline. I think being creative, I honestly don't know where I would be without creativity. And when you're creative, you get to express so many range of emotions. And no matter which way you're creative, whether it's through photography or art or graphics or singing, just whatever, I think you need an outlet sometimes. And whatever way you can be creative, even just throwing paint on a wall, then, it really releases something in you. So I think it's essential for my life, and I will hope for others too.
Well done. Yeah, it's true. So the third question, do you have a movement or exercise regime? And how important is this to your well-being?
Yes, I'm a runner.
Oh!
I absolutely love running.
Wow.
I love running because, oh God, it's so therapeutic, and I kind of just zone out and meditate when I do it. And it's the one thing that I think you can consistently challenge yourself on. You can always go a little bit faster, a little bit harder, a little bit further. And when you're running and it's just you, it's you against your brain. Like, you gotta, when you hit a wall, you have to talk yourself through it. So
Yeah.
you kind of can use running for anything in life. You got to talk yourself through those times when it's hard. And, you know, if you set out to go do 5 miles and by the third mile you're just like exhausted and hot, you mentally have to, it's not about even physical, it's mental stuff. So running is like my favorite exercise.
Wow. That's really interesting. When you say about the mental, I've been doing vinyasa yoga, and it's really challenging. But what I do find is that it is mental. The asanas and the postures, the most difficult ones for me, chaturanga, which is like a plank, a lower level plank,
Mm-hmm.
it was really hard for me. But when the yoga instructor actually spoke about your mind is stopping you, it
Absolutely.
really, it broke through emotionally for me, and physically. So when you're saying about running, I always know a lot of people that run that talk about this about breaking this barrier
Mm-hmm.
that they encounter. So,
Absolutely.
wow. So no wonder your planning is really succinct, because you have your outlet. So people take notes, those of you who start in your businesses. Do you have a morning practice or ritual?
I do. Yes. Before I even step foot out of bed, I give gratitude. I say this every morning on Twitter, and it's probably so redundant, but the very first thing I say is thank you for life. I just tell the universe thank you for life, because I feel like if I'm alive, if my eyes open and I'm breathing, then the entire world is mine. The day is mine. I can do whatever I want if I wake up every morning, you know, and I think I attribute that to losing people in the last couple of years. I feel like I've lost a lot of people. And I'm like, every morning I wake up, I'm excited. Like, if I'm up, I could do anything because I'm still alive. And then after
Yeah.
that, I kind of just go down a gratitude list of whatever pops in my head. And it can be as simple as thank you for running water. Like, I just go down this gratitude list while I'm brushing my teeth, while I'm getting dressed, taking a shower. I'm just saying thank you for everything. And one of the things I say every morning is thank you for my creativity. I really believe that's my lifetime. Thank you for love. Thank you for running water, electric, gas, and just food, health, everything. And sometimes it's really specific if something happened the night before and I'm like, oh, thank you for that. And sometimes it's just as simple as something I might just spot. Or sometimes I'm even thankful for a good hair day. So that is my morning ritual. I just give gratitude for whatever I can think about as I'm going along in the morning.
That's wow. The power of gratitude. That's really, it's really, really, what you're saying is, it's actually bringing me back, but it's really important and really powerful. Like I did a 40-day gratitude. Um, it was a 40-day gratitude exercise when I
Mm-hmm.
woke up every day. But actually, what you're saying is not something that should be 40 days. It should be all the time. And, it's the most important thing is gratitude.
And you just
Um,
reminded me of something too. I'm sorry, from I think your second
yeah,
question. That was the other thing I did in planning is that I gave gratitude every morning for the business. Before I had one graphic, one T-shirt, I literally gave gratitude for the entire collection before it existed. I acted as if I already had it. And
mhm.
also, before I even shipped internationally, like a month before that, every morning, I would be like, thank you for my international customers. Like, I really did that.
Wow.
And it just, everything just kind of came into fruition. So I'm sorry, I forgot that was part of my planning in the beginning.
That's really important, because a lot of people will be actually watching this podcast from all over the world, but it will be really important that your t-shirts get to England, because, internationally. So it's good that they will be able to hear that, because they will be asking and saying, where is this available? So, for me, I think that's really good. But the most important thing is, your planning is amazing. How you planned and you listed and you gave gratitude. So you're telling to me you're putting the spirit in your business.
Absolutely.